Hey World Changers, Jim Padilla here with this week's key to positioning yourself as an expert in your field. Map out your client lifecycle. What does that do for you? Alleviates a couple of big problems. See, most of the time, most people have a good idea of where they want to take their client. General idea, but that's not specific. See, if somebody says yes as a suspect to turn them into a prospect, what's the conversion process? What do you do when you decide they're a qualified prospect and you need to make them a lead so that they can actually determine how they're going to get to appointment status? Then when you have them as a lead, where are you going to take them in the prospect to lead them to an appointment? Once they're an appointment, how are you going to convert them into the sale? And then of course, once you've got the sale, how do you onboard them as a client? Each one of those stages needs a process, and you want to make sure that you think that through. So mapping it out is a great way to make that happen. The other thing that happens, very important key, is anywhere along the way, somebody can say no. What happens then? Because most of the time, they get left out. And let me show you. Here's what happens. You've got somebody who you're determining as a prospect. Yes, you like it. Great. They are now officially a lead because you've determined they're a good fit for what you do at this point in time. Now, if they're a prospect, they're not ready to become a lead today, but you can still have a relationship with them. Where are you going to take them? What's the next step? What are you going to do to keep them in that database? Okay? Once you have somebody who's a lead, what are you going to do to effectively and efficiently lead them to a presentation? An appointment is any presentation, whether one-on-one, group setting, conference call, webinar, seminar. It's an appointment, it's an opportunity for them to see your product and how it might fit for them. If you get them effectively to this presentation, you know where they're going. What happens if you can't? What happens if they deny this opportunity? Where do you take them? Okay. Once you've got the presentation made and we have a conversion on the sale, outstanding. How do you convert that? And what if they say no, not at this time? Next, last and not least, one of the most important parts, a lot of times we leave it off at the sale. Just because somebody buys your product doesn't mean they know how to use it, doesn't mean they know how it's going to benefit them, and doesn't mean they're going to use it at all. So we want to make sure we have an effective onboarding process. So what's the process to get them here? And what happens what do you do to make sure you catch the people who don't get in the onboarding process? You want to have some way to lead them all back to the place they belong on this process so they can get right back into the loop and you never leave anybody behind. Whether that's an invitation, a phone call, a reach out, a PDF, a video, something that's going to engage them and lead them back to the next step so they stay in the cycle, in the food chain. Clear way to think through the process, great way to lay it out. I love a whiteboard for something like this. Awesome way to make this happen. Okay? Put it into play. That's your task for this week. Map out your process. You'll be amazed at the things that you discover and the holes you'll be able to fill in your process. Okay, we'll see you next week. Until then, remember, you're the expert.